Alright, we're here with Murph. He decided to do a update on his frog marine cess, so he's going to do an updated profile.
Absolutely. So I've had time to play and test it more and actually, redevelop my level of consistency with different additions to the deck. I've recently added Pot of Avarice, that being at 3, created an enormous amount of recursion for this deck. We're going to go ahead and jump right in. We're going to, standard 3 Tang. I like the ratio with 2 Pascalis better because 9 times out of 10 you want Tang above anything. You want that. You want to see that first because that starts your combo. When you get into both, Pascalis really goes off. You know what I mean? You can even go Pascalis into Seahorse. It's just not as good. Mm-hmm. Because at the end of the day, all you're really going to do is create resources on the field to get into bigger monsters. You're not really going to set yourself up for next turn, anything like that. You know what I mean? Like you need that foolish, link off 1 slug, add 1 to your hand. You know what I'm saying? That's the first effect when it goes into the graveyard. Obviously, you get that Pot of Duality effect, and sometimes that draw can really set you up too.
Okay.
Pascalis, once again, just to go over hers, which she's normal or specialed. She can special summon another Marine Cess monster from the hand to the field in defense position. And both of their effects go off whether they're normal or special summon. That applies to Pascalis as well as Tang. And then when Pascalis is in the graveyard, you can banish it from the graveyard to add any Marine Cess card from the graveyard to your hand.
Okay.
So, and obviously, with that being said, it would include spell and traps as well. You can add back the Battle Ocean or the Wave, or if you choose to play any of the other traps. But it cannot do that on the turn it's sent to the graveyard.
Okay.
And then Seahorse, of course, your biggest extender. Seahorse can special summon herself from the hand to an open zone that a Marine Cess Link monster points to. And then when it's in the graveyard, carrying the similar effect to Pascalis, it can't do it the same turn it's sent there, but you can banish it to special summon a water monster from your hand. It's water, so any water monster. You can do it with a Swap Frog or Dupe or whichever.
Okay.
So let's go ahead and move these. So we are only playing the 1 Mandarin. I'm considering running 2. The special effect is another extending effect that can really lead you to nice boards, big walls, lots of negates, you know what I mean? Just kind of depends. However, if you special summon it by its effect, it does have that banish effect, which obviously, I've misplayed on several times. But only having the 1 and that going off kind of sucks.
Yeah.
And I noticed that today with one of my matchups, Salamangreat.
Yeah.
That was rough because I misplayed that, and so when we got the banish off, you know what I mean, I was like so kind of locked on field. I didn't really have much else to do.
Yeah.
So I'm very seriously considering playing 2, but other than that, she's very good. She can do her special from hand or grave, which is really, really nice. And she's just, basic level 1. You can even try and do a 1-for-1 setup if you really wanted to. And then once again, we're going into the Toad Engine, your basic 3 swap. I have upped Dupe to 3. Dupe is really, really good, especially if you use Dupe as your target for special summoning with Anemone's effect, or if you swap back to your hand off its own effect, and then allow yourself to get the extra normal summon of a frog, and that's Dupe. You get the search when it's sent from the grave, and that usually puts another swap in your hand, and you just kind of keep going off further from that, because none of them are once per turn. And then we still have Ronin at 2. He can banish either himself, which obviously, if there's only 1 Ronin in the field, obviously, or in the graveyard, obviously you can't do it. But if you have 2 Ronin in the graveyard, you can.
Yeah.
You're right, at least you got
So,
your hand
but what his effect is, he banishes another frog from the graveyard, and he special summons himself. And then when he's on field, he's treated as, or he can't be used as secret material, and then when he's in grave, he's treated as Frog the Jam.
Okay.
So just to clarify all of their effects, trying to be a little more informative. Take care, bud. On its spells, we're going to basic 3-sided mining. The originals secrets I think are still even a little pricey.
Yeah.
Right? What are they sitting at? Like 20?
Not too sure.
Or a little bit, somewhere around there. I'm not too sure exactly either, but they do have the reprint. We're also playing Murray of Greed. I prefer Mareo of Greed over Pot of Desires. Banishment for this deck is not fun.
Yeah.
Unless you do it, within reason by their own effects. That makes much more sense because Pot of Desires, I feel, is just reckless for a deck like this. I think you need to conserve and just really sit and pay attention to what you do and how you do it. And I learned a lot about that today. Call to the Grave to prevent disrupts of your place. 2 of the field spell Marincess Battle Ocean. It's searchable, it's recurable. Any Marincess monster that has an effect that would allow it to search or add or whatever the case may be and says card, you can get it back. You know what I'm saying? There's no need to play more than 1 or 2 copies. I prefer 2 in case something happens. Let's say it gets banished or whatever the case may be with cards such as like Paleozoic Dynamiscus. If you only have the 1 copy, you're locked out of that. So having at least the 1 extra can save your butt sometimes. Like I said earlier, I went ahead and got a hold of Avarices. The recursion with these is phenomenal. It has set up so much, like even being in certain situations of I've already built my board. It's basic enough to where I have the Omni Negate Toad. I have Wonderheart on the field. I have the capability of special summoning in the battle. I even have back row set and ready for the next turn. And then here we go. Pot of Avarice, return 5, draw 2.
Yeah.
Next thing you know, I get into Toads or something, and I can extend even further than that.
I'm assuming, just like anybody else, if you see it first turn, is it usually dead? The Pot of Desire or Avarice?
Usually,
Yeah.
that is very, very true. Although playing 3 copies can, even with it being dead at those times, the only thing I found to deal with that is just, utilizing it as discard fodder.
Yeah.
And then if I need another one, I know I got 2 other copies that I'll eventually get into. You know, and then for the final spell, we're playing the 1 upstart. With this upstart, the deck count is 41.
Okay.
So I feel like it's nice and consistent with this. Even though that sometimes that life point gain for your opponent, especially when it's really drawn out and you're not really, getting at each other real hard. Like, some duels can really get intense.
Yeah.
Sometimes it can be a game loser. I ain't even gonna lie. So onto the traps, we're going with 3 Marincess Wave. Easily, one of the best in the deck. This saves your butt. It is Marincess Impermanence. And then, well, I mean, in the sense that you control a Link 3 or higher.
Yeah.
If you control a Link 3 or higher, you can special summon it from your hand. You can activate it from hand, I'm sorry. If you control Link 2 or higher, all of your monsters on the field, which I actually went in here and read it a little more thoroughly. It doesn't specify water, it doesn't specify Marincess. As long as you control Link 2 or higher Marincess Link monster, when you activate it, all of your monsters on that side of the field for the whole turn
That's cool.
become unaffected for the turn. And then I have added in Compulse. I have watched several builds that are utilizing Compulse. Compulse is, I can't deny, it is good. It is good. There were a lot of situations where Compulse saved me from dying. I mean, it's fast. It's easily sighted out for other, disruptors, staple cards, whatever the case may be. It's just, I like the way it feels.
Okay.
I've taken down a lot of the Paleozoic engine. Currently, I'm only running the 1 Dynamiscus, or however you pronounce that, and then 2 copies of Canadia, just because they're, fast little evil disruptors.
Yeah.
In my personal opinion, I would probably like to run this at triple Canadia and double Oleonoids. Or I'm sorry, not Oleonoids, Dynamiscus. Oleonoids was the one that I ended up taking out. It's just a spell and trap disrupt. You know what I mean? It just pops. Sometimes, even when you do that, they still get their effects off. Especially when they're like quick plays and counters and all that other crap. But that's what I'm considering upping that to, because I do no longer play the Anomalchris, I think is how you pronounce the name, the Paleozoic XYZ.
Okay.
I have since changed that up. Of course, leading on to the extra deck, we'll go ahead and start with the ranks. I took out the Anomalchris. We're playing the 1 Opabina, the 2400 defense, no attack. You sit on him, you can activate Paleozoic cards directly from your hand. Like, That's golden. That's golden. And then if he has a Paleozoic trap attached to him as material, he can detach one and search any Paleozoic trap card, which is pretty gross. So that's nasty. We finally got a hold of the Toad. Absolutely got to play the Toad. Unfortunately, it's sitting at 1. Otherwise, we'd be playing 3.
Yeah.
But makes the Frog engine that much more consistent. Playing the 1 Dweller, basically your Ghost Bell and Haunted Mansion, as well as in this particular deck anyway, pretty significant attack boost just from having Water Monsters as material. That's also its other effect. That's actually its first effect, and then the second effect is detach to negate the grave, obviously. And then we're playing the 1 Bahamut Shark. I originally took this out trying a new Link Karibo Link, but I don't think it's not Link Karibo, it's a different one. I think it has a different pronunciation.
The newer one from Ignition Assault?
Yes.
Yeah.
And it specifies Cybers. First effect is you can tribute it off field to negate the activation of a trap card or whatever the case.
Yeah.
And then the second effect involves utilizing an At-Ignister card or monster, I believe.
Okay.
Which actually kind of made it difficult for me. So first link 1, we're playing the 1 Marincess Sea Angel. Sea Angel is your one-time search for the field spell. Usually if you don't see the field spell in your hand right away, or eventually like from utilizing Murray of Greed or Pot of Avarice, whatever the case may be, if you don't see one, this will be your go-to as far as getting one.
Yeah.
And 9 times out of 10, even if it leaves the field, whatever, you can usually get it back.
Okay.
So like I said, that goes back to saying, like, you know, that's only why I played 2 copies. Blue Slug, also playing 2 copies. Blue Slug is very, very consistent. 3 is a little bit cloggy. It's a little bit too much. Sometimes you're in situations where, you know, you got too many of these guys and it's just like, man, I don't need that much. You can always put it back.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So it makes room for other things that would make it a little faster, a little more consistent, whatever. As far as the effect is concerned, when it's summoned, you can target a Marincess monster, or let me see if it specifies level. I gotta double check that. Or no, okay, so just 1 Marincess monster, so it could even be an extra deck monster or anything like that, from your grave and add it to hand. And if it's anything else other than a regular monster, obviously it would redirect to the extra deck.
Yeah.
Playing the 1 copy of Starboy, just the blanket effect attack gain can be very game changing. I didn't feel 2 was necessary. If it's destroyed by battle or card effect, you can add a water monster from your graveyard to the hand, so that even that can dip you back into a Toad engine maybe that died out later in the duel, or let's say I've tried the hand trap Ghost Sister and Spooky Dogwood. Even though she's a zombie, she is a water monster, so she can be special summoned by Anemone. She can be added back with Starboy, all that good stuff, and you can potentially, you know, kind of work out spicy texts, whatever you feel. Playing 2 copies of Crystal Heart, she is unaffected in the extra deck monster zone when she's summoned there by her own effect, as well as the field if the field is in play.
Yeah.
Once per turn, or I'm sorry, once per battle, if a monster attacks Crystal Heart or another Marincess monster that it points to, yes, okay, it does specify Marincess, so it has to be Marincess monster in the zone that it points to. But you can do that if they attack that monster too. And what it does is you can discard a Marincess monster from your hand to the grave, and it makes it to where a monster being attacked takes no damage and can be destroyed by battle for that battle.
Okay.
So it's not a once per turn, so you can do it as many times as they battle you. Playing 2 copies of Anemone, considering 3, only have 2. Still very consistent. When she's summoned, you get the special summon effect off. I do not believe her summon is a condition. No, it is not. So the effect states you can target one right off the bat. So that's just, you know, you can activate that whenever you see fit.
Yeah.
But what it does is it specials a water monster, any water monster of your choice, to the zone that it points to. So whatever open zone that it points to, it can be special summoned there. Let me get these out of the way. And for the last 3 cards in the extra deck, we have upped Marbled Rock to 2. You have the potential capability, if you draw right, if you see what you need to right away, or, you know, just when the time is right, you can get into bigger link ratings like this quite often. You can expand a lot off of your extenders and really kind of, sometimes you might go too far. I found myself doing that.
Yeah.
Going way too far and then not having enough resources to protect myself with, or whatever the case may be. But having 2 copies with her being a once per turn search, into the graveyard, you can pick and pull out whatever the heck you want, and it doesn't specify monster, it just says Marissa's card. So you can add back your waves, you can add back your field spell, whatever you need. Also, it has the same effect as Crystal Heart, being that if it's attacked, or if it attacks, I believe. I think that's both. Or just does battle. Anyway, what you do is you discard Marissa's monster, and once again, take no damage, and it can be destroyed by battle for that battle, not once per turn. And finally, Wonderheart. Wonderheart also has a very broken, nasty effect. So, let me double check. Okay, yeah, once per battle, we went through a big ruling, and I'm still kind of sad about it. I didn't read properly, but once per battle, when she battles, I know it now. Okay, done. Anyway, when she battles, quick effect during damage calculation, which those words right there are just nasty by themselves.
Yeah. Because
not a lot of things, actually, everybody should know who plays competitive Yu-Gi-Oh! Nothing higher than, or nothing lower than a spell speed 3 can activate at damage calculation. So that's actually pretty nasty. There's not really a lot that can change that. But what it does is, in that damage calculation, the battle still goes through, unless of course your opponent activates a response to negate it or whatever. What it does is you can make the same effect that Marble Rock does when it's attacked. Take no damage, can be destroyed, and then whenever monster is equipped to it, that was activated when the field spell was in play on your previous turn, whatever the case, you can special summon it from the equip to the field. It'll receive the attack gain from the field spell, because the field spell gives its own attack gain, not including the ones that are equipped to it, and then you can make another attack, at least with the one that's special summoned. Now, I'm considering playing multiple copies, because if you play multiple copies, obviously, even though they're the same copies, you can attack with both of them. If they both attack, I can get 2 special summons if they both have equips, and get 2 more attacks. You know what I'm saying? It's a quick effect, and it's in damage calculation. I don't know, I'm considering it. Some people are telling me that might be a little too much, but who knows? We're gonna test it out and see how it works, and then I'll get back to you on that one.
All right.
And then finally, we'll just go ahead into the side deck. I finally got it a little bit where I want it. Firstly, we're playing Triple DD Crow, just very, very good for the meta. Discard, just, another hand trap, discard to banish any card in your opponent's graveyard. It's a quick effect, and they recently errated that, in case you don't have that errata. Even if you don't, it will still have that, so keep that in mind. Quick effect. 3 copies of Cosmic Cyclone. I would be playing the Twin Twister, but at the end of the day, I would much rather pay 1,000 life points than discard 1 card. So, and then not only that, but you banish it. So sometimes certain effects that are in play, because the particular spell or trap has to remain off field, it doesn't matter, it just goes away. Triple copies of Solemn Judgment. I don't have infinite impermanences or anything nasty like that, so I decided to go ahead and side Judgments, because Judgment can stop anything at the cost of some major life points, but
except for Super Poly.
Right. That's probably the only thing it can't stop, to be honest. However, you cannot Super Poly a Marincess Link monster that's in the Extra Dome that has the Extra Deck Zone, that has the unaffected affected play. We're also citing 3 copies of White Howling. A lot of people would probably consider maining it, just because the whole entire deck is literally water monsters, and not a single monster you play that's not water. In which case you're generally always in control of water monsters, so you usually always are able to activate this effect. And what it does is you can target any spell card in your opponent's graveyard, if there is one in his graveyard, banish it, and then they can't activate spells for the rest of the turn. That's pretty damn disgusting. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? So, and lastly, we're playing 3 copies of Crackdown. This was a recent decision. Originally, I was trying Royal Decree, more so out of frustration than anything, because Counter Traps destroyed me last week. But we have made the change to Crackdown at your request, and I think I'm gonna like that better.
All right.
It's definitely very consistent, very nice little thing. So thank you guys. Give my guys some support, and let me know what you think of the build.
Well, thanks for showing that. And if you guys are trying to build this deck, hopefully this gave you a good idea. And until next time, I'll see you guys later.